You know, our prehistoric fish ancestors tend to get all the blame for getting us stuck on land, but there are some of our other ancestors that deserve a little blame too. Because those fish ancestors from the Devonians still stayed very tied to the water for millions of years. The most time they were actually spending on land was probably just a few hours, and it was being used to move to a different puddle. By the Carboniferous period though, they had developed a more amphibian-like build that allowed them to spend even more time outside the water, maybe even a lifetime. But there was a huge problem that they shared with the other amphibian-like animals around, and it was that they had to return to the water to lay their eggs. Those eggs didn't have an outer shell to protect themselves, and they also couldn't hydrate or get nutrients by themselves, so if they weren't in the water, they were absolutely cooked. It would get worse when the Carboniferous climate became drier, and the number of available lakes and ponds started to go down, but they weren't all that good anyway thanks to spawn camping fish. Eventually, a group of animals called the amniotes got an adaptation that fixed all that, which was the amniotic egg that had a hard shell and all the essentials packed inside already. So in the end, this was the moment that our ancestors really got us stuck on land, and you can't blame them because anyone would get tired of getting spawn camped by a fish. The amniotes would later split into different groups, and the one that our ancestors belonged to was the synapsids, which had one hole behind the eye socket called the temporal fenestra. An adaptation that would help them develop much stronger jaws, and they would get a lot of other adaptations that would help them dominate the land as mammals. But it's never too late to make a change because some of those mammals made it back into the water after getting a horrible vision about taxes and humans.